The building blew up and all. I was supposed to fly out at about an hour after that. Brother Clint was like, you ain't going nowhere. The building just blew up. And what I did was they had everything shut down the road. So I hightailed it. In the spirit, something said, don't go to the airport. We're down Bush Avenue. I said, well, let me go get a phone call. So I walked up to Flatbush Avenue. And something said, don't go to the airport. You know, so, and just so happened there was a sister that, one of my ex-girlfriends was, she had moved back up here to go to nursing school. And she was moving back down to Atlanta. She was supposed to leave, I think she was supposed to leave the same day. So she got stranded. So, make a long story short, I was able to, everything was shut down, was able to get on Long Island Railroad because they had the cadets that had to go and go home, get some sleep, and come back and relieve the police officers. And she lived in Amityville, so I rode out with them. But then got to Amityville for damn near 3-4 days and stuff because, you know, I think they shut down all the bridges, Triborough Bridge and all that and stuff, you know. And then, and they was checking people, you know, they was checking cars and stuff. And I knew something when they first opened back up LaGuardia, and they shut it back down, it was like they was looking for somebody. And it was interesting because Brother Azariah had just completed his catalog, and had a big old picture of Khalid up in there. And I said, man, this is all they need. The only thing they needed was something Islamic, you know, to put you down with the subversive movement and all, you know. And so she, so what she did was that she, we had to wait until that Friday, and it was checking the Triborough Bridge or whatever, and we snuck out about 3 o'clock that Friday, and they had all the army and all that was out there. But the point about it was they had a monsoon came that night, a rain that Friday night, so nobody was checking. We rode out. But I knew something was going on when they were shutting down all the airports and stuff. And like I said, I had a picture of like I said, that I think it's the which one is that? That catalog. It's got a big color picture of Khalid, and that's all they needed was something like that. No, you know. And then I knew by the time they passed the terrorist bill in February, in November, that basically that just gives them a green light to just say that your rights are suspended and all that. But you heard so many takes on this thing. I even have some 2 videos out on the World Trade Center, 1 and 2. Now, I know you heard a lot of takes on it and all, but there's one metaphysical take on it that I explained to people, and that is this one thing. And first of all, did anybody see this coming off the internet? This thing about the $20 bill. Anybody saw this yet? How you fold a $20 bill? Well, see, this, I would say that this would be a coincidence. If it was an older $20 bill, then you might say, well, whatever. But the point about it is, remember, they started changing all these up in 97, 98, 99, on into 2000. So if they was planning all this type of stuff and all, they could basically format it for the simple fact that they started all these dollar bills, these particular money. This money is less than doggone 5 years old. You say they started they started in 97, I think. I think they started in 97. So that means that in actuality it shows that they could actually format this particular bill to, and it's got the Masonic level and all that, to actually put it so that they can actually bring this about. Some say that they built the building to blow it up. You see what I'm saying? Over 30 years ago. You know, my take on it is, and a couple of things I want to, my take on it is I got a metaphysical take on it. And that is 2 things. The Europeans say fend for yourself. Now, I'm going to give you a system because there's something that happened recently, I think, that ties into this, that I'm going to go into in a few minutes. But we know that the structure, the motifs, as far as your ego, your pyramid, we all know that's all Masonic, but we also know that there's an alternative history that the Moors have been saying that the Moors set the country up. You see, that the Moors set the country up. So we know that there is a spiritual destiny in the aspect of your whole apparatus, your motifs as far as the way the government is steeped in symbolism and the Masonic structure. Despite whether they use it for good or evil, it's still spiritual. You see, and that's one of the keys. That's one of the keys that we need to understand. That even though we know that the Illuminati, the original aspect of the Illuminati, did not come from the Europeans, it was something that was left behind by the Moors in Spain. But that just means the Illumined ones. But when they come to power, they can use it for either, you know, bad, or use it for oppression, or whatever. That depends on, because it's the sword, and the sword can be used two ways. You see what I'm saying? It can be used for defend yourself, and get used to murder and pillage. So the key here is, the real take on this is this. There is an American spirit. That means that anything that you put together with spiritual iconology, motifs from the past, is the same as it was 2,000 years ago. So we know that based on the Masonic level of the country, we know that they can put together a system, because we also know that the Moors helped with this whole thing. We know the whole thing with DC, we know all of this type of information, and that's why we got to go back and get the books. There's two books on America's spiritual destiny. There's one by Manly P. Hall, and there was another one put out by what's the name of that book company, the one that put out the Serious Mystery. There was another one put out by, what's the name of that book company? They put out the Serious Mystery book also. I'll get the name of it in a minute. But anyway, I think it's Destiny Books. Anyway, we know that there's two books out on this America's Secret Destiny, as well as one book called The Return of the Ancient Serpent. It's called The Return of the Ancient Serpent of Wisdom. There's another book called The Emerald Tablets of Hermes. There's two books out on the Emerald Tablets. There's one by Drumbelow Melchizedek. That's not the one to get. Then there's a major work put out called The Emerald Tablets, put out the same year, I think like in 99. And in there they have a part of America's spiritual destiny. So, despite the land of slavery, the land of all which was hatred towards us, there's still a spiritual destiny, because we are here. That's one of the keys. That's one of the keys. It's already, I explained about 3-4 years ago that that's the same thing that is explained in the movie Jason and the Argonauts, and also the book Argonautica, or the book The Voyage of the Argo, which is the actual major work that they got, the Jason of the Argonauts. And the actual golden fleece is nothing but melanin in the inner spirit of the most ancient beings that is in the land of Caucasus. And they said we can't let the golden fleece out of Caucasus, because since the golden fleece has been in Caucasus, this magical ram's head or lamb's head, Caucasus has prospered. Well, since we've been here, America has prospered, and they never wanted to let us go. You see, they never wanted to let us go. So that particular story, as well as we talk about several of these stories before, the thrice great Hermes, the Hermetic text, and there's several stories that deal with us being in America. So therefore, it was a secret destiny of America even before the Europeans was even doggone reading and writing. You see, which is very interesting, because I'm going to show you how all this lines up, because there's a lot of prophecy going on, and we found out some major stuff the last 3 weeks. The last 3 weeks. And I'm going to go into this, and it's going to tie in to this particular aspect. But we know that the West, they talk about it in the Book of the Dead. Especially this, anybody seen the Faulkner's Book of the Dead, the big brown one? There's a big rust-colored Book of the Dead that came out in 1994 by Faulkner. It was an earlier version, but they just revised this thing and made it a authentic text, and they had about 3 or 4 scholars working on it. They debuted it at Wiser's Books up here downtown before Wiser's closed, the big Book of the Dead. And in there, they go into the whole thing about the Westerners, the Westerners, the Westerners. Well, some people think that was the West Bank of the Nile or the Valley of the Dead, but in actuality, that was spiritual destiny of the West that would come into being. Your whole Camelot story of King Arthur and the Holy Grail, which was a Moorish document, went into Ireland, went into France, and then Britain got it and tried to forge this fake royalty based on King Arthur's Pendragon and King Arthur's Camelot. But the story was a story talking about Camelot was actually America, and the King Arthur's courts, the Knights of the Round Table, was in actuality the upper room of black people that would come into this continent at this particular time. So the rise of Arthur's kingdom was in fact a spiritual destiny of America. That's why twice in 30-something years they tried to name the Kennedys Camelot, then they tried to name the Clintons Camelot. You see what I'm saying? The new Camelot or whatever, trying to name the Clintons. That is because the spiritual destiny, before Britain usurped the story and tried to front like that they were the King Arthur's court. Now, this was a Moorish story, and in the book Rundle and Clark's book, Rundle Clark's book called Egyptian Myth and Symbol, he said that your King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, Guinevere, and all that is nothing but Osirian drama retold. But the mythology that we see, there will be a future people that would take place in the West. This whole drama would unfold. You see, so there is a secret destiny, make no bones about it. That's why we're here talking tonight. So this whole thing is wrapped around us, but then again, on the other hand, the United States, the old regime, needed to cash in on this wealth and power that is getting ready to rise up out of us. In this particular case, they could get the dead black people in on the bullshit. And how you do that is, now there is an American spirit in the aspect of, the Moors came together and they put together all these ancient Masonic motifs. The country, whether we like it or not, is steeped in Camite and African spirituality in the aspect that they brought all those particular iconology and symbols here to make the damn country. And we know there was a black element that helped them do it. So if there is an American spirit, the only thing the government needs to do is to renew the American spirit. And in order to renew the American spirit, they got to get the original people in on the bullshit. Mainly flag waving. So the key was to, if there's something that's going away, and they know that there's something that's going away because they know that the old regime has to fall because there's people up under the foot of the belly of the beast, and their pain and suffering that has been echoing for thousands of years. It's foretold in the book of Enoch, the one R.H. Charles book of Enoch, about how these particular ones will be these suffering people that will try to run all over the world. Everywhere they would run, the white man would be there. They will find no place to go that the white man would not rule. It's in the book of Enoch, R.H. Charles' book of Enoch, the Ethiopian book of Enoch. So they understood that based on the suffering that was going to happen, they knew that this old garrison, the old guards, would overturn. It's in the Crawley's Book of Thoth. The Book of Thoth by Aleister Crowley, under the tarot card, the Tower. And they said the two towers of the tower that is struck represents the changing of the guard from the old garrison, a brute, mighty force, to the new garrison, which is a spiritual force. That's in the tarot cards of the Tower in the Aleister Crowley's Book of Thoth. That is in the second movie that is getting ready to come out of the Lord of the Rings. The next movie is called what? The Two Towers. It's a 3-volume book. There's 3 volumes in the book. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, and then what? The Return of the King. So we're talking about mythology comprised again by J.R.R. Tolkien. You see, so the Two Towers is a central force, and it's like I said, it's in the tarot card, but it also represents the changing over of the gods. Now, all steeped in the mystery, the government needs to get a renewing of American spirit because the morale is low. You see, over the course of the years, apathy runs the land, and once apathy sets in, whether it's black or white, it doesn't matter. Once there's a certain amount of energy that that's not put forth on a certain system, that system wiggles away. So what you have to do is you have to come in and you have to renew the spirit. In this particular case, they're going to renew a spirit that black people never had since we've been in this country. We were never as patriotic as this shit here. You know what I'm saying? Because hell, we was in segregation just 30 years ago. So this is some new shit to us. Yankee Doodle Dandy shit. You know, yes, if you add Jesus to it, you might can get us in on the bullshit. And that was the case before. Just add Jesus to it. But we're talking about patriotic Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Born on the 4th of July. We never had that really until 9/11. So they have to get not the whites, they have to get the blacks, the ancient people from the ancient people who carry the melanin, who carry the spirit, that is the same spirit that is supposed to rise up. In so many cases, the Kundalini energy, which is the basis of this thing. So they have to get those particular people in on the festivities and all the bullshit that was going down. And so therefore, what better way than to blow up a building and tell people and keep it in the psyche and tell people that, hey, you need to mourn. You see? Then you got it, and you know, and I mean, we've heard so much about this 9/11 thing. Like, half the people on the doggone list are all those so-called people that blew up in the plane, these Arabs, some of them coming up living. You know, one nigga dead since 95. Just taking all kind of pictures and shit. You know. So, the whole concept here is, once they got black people patriotic and got black people to get down with this so-called 9/11 mourning period and all of this, because the first thing you do is you bring out the damn preachers. Bring out the preachers, bring out the choirs. They showed you step-by-step guide on how to mind control the people in the movie Wag the Dog. Remember they got Pop Staples up in there, got the countryman Willie Nelson up in there, and made a good old gospel song, and they can bring people home with this shit. So therefore, in fusing together a spiritual destiny that was the destiny of black people rising up is the destiny of God Bless America. You know what I'm saying? Which is a song made in the 1920s or the 1930s. You know what I'm saying? But people actually think that it's a religious song, you know, 2,000 years ago. You see what I'm saying? Because we're not historically literate. So therefore, you can literally renew American spirit. This is a metaphysical way. You've heard the whole thing, but you get a whole bunch of people thinking about the same thought at one time. You can make change. Well, that's the same concept here. You see, it's the same concept. So as a result, this had to happen. And this had to happen. So as a result, this is one of the main keys. Now, there's so much other things we can go into based on this whole mind control thing. But I want to put that out there because I'm going to show you the second part of this stuff in a few minutes. And we'll break this thing down to things that's actually happening also. But first of all, I want to say, did anybody get any of these newsletters? Because you remember we had the conference down in Atlanta last year. Anyway, this is the sister Deborah Morris put together a newsletter. And what this thing is called the Serious Times. And what this thing is doing is, we know we have a lot of social consciousness in New York with UAM and all the protest thing and all this thing. You know, we got enough stuff up here, but we need to know the feedback on the rest of the country. So therefore, it's good to know what the rest of the country is dealing with, and also if there's lectures that's going on in other parts of the country, it should be a way to also to you to get feedback, or you to get in contact and network with the amount of conscious people there is, because the simple fact is we know this is a precious commodity. So when they talk about the Knights of the Round Table, they talk about the elect, they talk about the upper room. Okay, yeah, that's cool. We do that with the libations. It's already mixed. Y'all done mixed it too? Yeah. Dangerous. Good. 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 We got the mixture. We're going to get into that also, too. Because this thing here is doing wonders around the country. If there was ever, you know, that whole snake on, you know, the man out in the West, he got an elixir or something that can do anything. Well, lo and behold, we got one now that can do anything, but it's not like, oh, Bobby trying to sell some old crazy shit. No, it's a whole metaphysical and spiritual thing behind this. Spiritual thing behind this also. So we want to give you the remedy also so that you can mix up some. Now, I'll go into the whole history of that. Go into history. I need some water, too. Did you get any water? Well, yeah, give me something to drink or whatever. And so for the people that didn't get any of these, I wanted to pass these out. This is the Sister Delbert. The name of the newsletter is the Quarterly Journal, the Quarterly Journal for Evolving Consciousness. This is spring 2002. There should be another one due in June. Oh, cool. There should be another one due out in June, or the 1st of July, or whatever. But I want to pass these out for the people that didn't get any. That's also at Serious Times, and the number is 404-344-6862. And there's several things in this particular newsletter, as well as everybody knows about. And I think Brother Dawood talked about it. We got the Nexus magazine about those African messiahs that lived in the 19. Well, it actually came about in the third prophecy of Fatima, and these people was these two African people that were a messianic type of force that lived all the way up into the 1980s, Anyway, that story, Simon Toko, that story is in here as well as other stories. So we want to pass some of those out for the people that didn't get them. You get them. You can get those also. Now, I want to do a couple other things. I want to go into some things, but we're going to pour libations right quick to get it on the way. The pour libations. See if I can remember all these names, because we're going to spit gods to the, I should have brought my Apollo book, to the Apollo gods. This is an elixir and a mixture of stuff. So I'm just going to spit this 4 ways, and then we'll go into what this is. You're all pretty fast, too. Y'all, shoot. Yeah, oh, you didn't became an expert at this thing. Huh? The extra ingredient in it? Oh, that might be good for New York. But anyway, it is a science, because because it's an ongoing case study on our story. This thing is not, despite what other conscious people think, that certain information is laid down and that's all it is in African history. We're talking about literally millions of years of history, if not thousands. We're talking about literally millions of years of history. So therefore, there's stuff that is constantly coming historically, and new information that has to be uncovered. And we found out some other information which makes this thing an African science, and I'll get into what occurs and how this thing occurs. But I want to pour libations right offhand, so let's do this. Okay, Zarabanda, I see, Madre de Agra, Madre de la Luna, La Santísima Muerte, La Santísima Piedra Iman, Las Spiritus Entregulas, San Simón, El Cristo Negro, El Cristo Rey, Mama Sholo. Let's see if there's any. Las Spiritus Entregulas. Okay. Cacumbo, Locayo, Otincha, Tiecha, Sheola, Alcala, Labado, Shumala, Omagumu, Oshun, Yemenya, Oya, Erzuli, Edoedo, Dambalawedo, Marasha, Simbi, Brigitte, Kali, Kalima, Shiva, Vetra, Rudra, Prometheus, Eros, Dionysus, Echidna, Areskagul, Inanna, Ishtar, Astarte, Aset, Heru, Heru-Set, Sut-Har, Sut-Neset, Sut-Nubit. Give me some loud old shades to get the energy going. Okay. Suras, Netters, Nephilim, Nibiru, Anpu, Anubis, Anunnaki, Lucifer, Sutton, Kundalini, Shaitan, Awas, Obas, Abbas, Sheba, Rerit, Lilith, Lilitu, Layla, Eniel, Ramesses, okay, Amun-Ra, Satis, Tatanin, Upwaret, Vashashetu, Sri Lakshmi, 10 Mahavadivas, Akali Ma, Mayat, Meskinet, Mintu Sivara, Mintep Sing Sing, Sekmet, Sashet, Selket, Sekadaru, Beth, Bell, Besh, Butches, Dadoon, Upwaret, Evo, Kulakulu, Cthulhu, Shabnigara, Hastar, Yosathos, Azathos, Azazel, Samaza, let's see, Kim, Kimothes, Hemmitt, Amit, Ani, Anpu, Anut, Cerebus, Carabus, Jason, Medea, Perseus, Apollo, Hercules, let's see, Gaia, Okeanos, Eros, Cupid, Psyche, Juno, Tim, Sim. I guess that'll do it for right now. Okay. All right. Shakti, Shiva, Prabhati, Sati, Lakshmi, Krishna, Radha, Balarama, Ba, Na, Ka, Yugaru, Nomo, Digitalia stages, Ama, Kuntu. Okay. We be all night. Samuel, Delilah, Lilu, Himu. Okay. All right. Let's go into some things. First of all, like I said, don't forget to get the newsletters of the Serious Times. I want to go into a couple of things right now. Also, we got the brother that's doing the other stuff, all the other conscious brothers and sisters from around the country. We also have on cassette mixed to some of the baddest music going, plus libation and the whole 9 yards. Brother named Darryl Rice out of Indiana, but now lives in Charlotte, puts this stuff together. So during the break or whatever, we can, if anybody interested, we can get some of this going too. Couple of things I want to deal with right now on the hard copy. And one, as you know, is the sister Lisa Lopez from, what's the name of the group? TLC, biting the dust recently, being murdered recently. We want to get into this particular aspect, just to put it on the record. Because that's exactly what went down. You know, she had hooked up with Dr. Sabi a couple of years back. I think about 3-4 years ago, because Dr. Sabi, I think she hooked up with him and she lost a lot of weight, and she was really intrigued with the information and all of this. And so, you know, he resides in Honduras, so she went down to Honduras. Her and Andre Rison they built a house down there in the whole 9 yards. She was in Honey magazine talking about Dr. Sabi and talking about the whole diet thing. She mentioned to a group of people out in the whole Hollywood area and music industry based on his AIDS cures and all this type of thing. And so as a result, she was seen mentioning him on BET and different things like that in the entire music community. And as a result, it's just interesting how 7 people can be in an automobile and then end up whatever happens and she's the only one dies. But apparently one of the brothers out in Oakland that's real good friends with Sabi got a call from Sabi. Well, he heard from Sabi before it even hit the news right after she died, and he even fessed up that he knew that they did something to her. And so basically it's that same thing, whereas she was going to introduce, it's one thing for conscious people to know things, but it's another thing to introduce the masses. Because it's just like Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, they would drink dirty water, but if they're shown clean water, they would drink the clean water every time. So the key here is it doesn't matter for Bobby Hemmitt or Phil Valentine or anybody in the whole conscious community, you know, a Dr. Bean and all, because we don't represent basically the masses, and we represent basically 0 point something when you think about it. So therefore, if the media don't sanction us, we don't exist for the masses. So therefore, they really don't care. They only are interested in rule the masses. So therefore, they're not really interested in the conscious black people. They understand that there's going to be a group of people that knows whether it's black or white. They're going to have a few people, but it's always going to represent 1% amongst black and white, compared to the masses of people just deaf, dumb, and blind, and stupid. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's interesting, because we was downtown today, went up to the Strand bookstore right up the street, right there in Wall Street, and walked up the street, and I was up there a year ago, and there was nothing on the street, no stores, hardly, everything was closed down, and now they got a bustling community up there just for this ground zero. But it's a whole thriving community. I mean, they got vendors, they got everything set up there, so it's damn near looking like Canal Street, right in that area leading up to ground zero, and we walk up there and shit, and there ain't nothing but some trailers up there. You know what I'm saying? But it's got massive people. I said, damn, I feel like a damn fool. I went and got in line. I said, well, let me go take a couple. We right up the street. The guy at the Strand bookstore said, walk 2 blocks up, you'll see ground zero. So we got up there and all. They needed tickets. They said, you need tickets. Well, they stopped selling tickets, so the sister let us come in. Because it was a sister. I said, oh, shit, like that. You know, and I said, and I started my, I said, she going to let us in. She said, go ahead on. And you know, we all happy and stuff. We think we going to go and I'm going to get some pictures of the rubbish and stuff, you know. Because I'm with a sister from Kansas, a sister named Olivia, that's never been here before, so this is some good tourist shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, Dorothy from Kansas can go back and, you know, show the people ground zero and shit. So I'm like, well, hell, I'll be your tour guide and all this, you know. So I'm like, shit, we gonna go up here and get some pictures of some swappers, some stuff. Get up there, ain't got nothing but trailers and shit. I'm like, damn, they didn't clean this thing out. But the shit was packed with white folks. You know what I'm saying? But they got a whole community. You see, because that's the, but going back, the masses, you see what I'm saying? They are ruled based on what the government allows them to get into. So therefore, it's the same thing with this Lisa Lopez thing. You know, she was going to introduce this to a greater community, and as a result, they took her on out. You see, but this has been the case with Saban since the early 80s, you know, when he went with Teddy Pendergrass. You know, was trying to get him to walk, and Teddy Pendergrass didn't believe, and after a while he went to the white boys and ain't walked since damn 82, and Muhammad Ali. And so he has had problems, they said. They ran him out of Chicago. You see what I'm saying? And so they've been getting on him for years. So this girl, he ends up getting killed behind this and all, basically because one flew over the cuckoo's nest in the aspect that the masses are never to know. And so she was going to make this her personal campaign. She had already gone in the Honey magazine, which is this new, one of the new black magazines that came out about 2-3 years ago. And she was already on BET, and so therefore she was going to put this thing to the public. They was out there, and not only that, but they was investing in Dr. Sebi. You see what I'm saying? And she was getting more people in the music community to invest in Dr. Sebi. So as a result, they took her out. You see, they took her out, and so this is just another thing that goes down in this long line of them doing things to the stars and all this kind of thing here. Case in point, while we on such menial stuff, it's just like that. It's just like the whole Halle Berry thing, you know. You know, she works for 10 years and never take off her clothes. Then she starts, you know, most people take off the clothes early, and then after 10 years, you know, they get to be esteemed star. They don't show their little boobies no more or whatever. So, you know, she worked for 10 years, and then next thing you know, she takes off her clothes and swordfish, and then she fucks this white boy and all, and gets Academy Award for screwing this white boy. That is a racist that kills her husband in the doggone movie. Now, the key here is the mystery here is the white folks have been pushing for soft porn to be integrated into the rated R stuff. You know, you get a rated R movie and they just be kissing and stuff, you know, and it's supposed to be some type of semblance of making love, but you know, you be like, this is some bullshit. We know they ain't making no love. You know, or something like that. But then again, you have what is called the soft porn stuff. That's the stuff you see on Cinemax late at night. The Playboy channel used to have it. And that's anything but penetration. So they try to integrate the soft porn thing in with the whole, they want to integrate that in with the entire, with the rated R thing. So they want to, you know, they said that, you know, the rated R ain't cutting it. So that, you know, this is 2000, so they want to push the envelope a little worse. You know, a little more. So what they do is they want to integrate the soft porn in there, which is basically set that one thing up under penetration. You see what I'm saying? You know, where you believe they're getting it on. Even if they're acting, the motherfucker look like they're getting it on. So what they will do is they will get, you know, they will, in order to push these ideas, and they say, well, get a nigga to do it. You see what I'm saying? And let her get screwed, and also, too, that's her part of selling out, so that therefore, then not only that, they give her the Academy Award, because they know that's going to go around the world, and she won the Academy Award for what? Fucking some old hillbilly.